Try before we die. It's the first episode of season 5. Welcome back and thanks to everybody. And we got something. We just wanted to say thank you. During the off season, we crossed over 500 subscribers and now we're in the plus range. Thank you so much. We really appreciate all your support. Malcolm.
How's it going?
We're back on set for season 5.
It is good.
That means you are 5 years older.
I know. I feel like it as well.
We're excited about season 5. We're excited about what bottles we might pull. Maybe we noticed, maybe we saw the WTF, but we have Randy 2.0. We have some nice spalted maple made by one of the crew members here, put together a new version of Randy. So why don't we find out what bottle we're opening tonight, and we'll go from there. It's the same deal. Hundreds of bottles of whiskey in this bar. We are not prepared. We have no idea what we're going to pick tonight.
Just press the button.
Just press the button. Try before Malcolm. Oh, we die.
It's much smoother.
I like the blue.
Ooh.
We have a pretty darn high number. I know for a fact that we're going to be rolling at least into the snooker room, possibly into a new shelf. We'll see everybody around the corner or on the backside. Bottle 345 now.
345. I do like it.
Try before we die with a bearded man and a British guy.
You made it over. It took us a second to figure out where bottle 345 was, but it's on this shelf closer to the bottom. So we end at 300 and we move over here. 12 to a row. 312, 324, 336, across by 9, 3 remaining is 12, 345 is this. A distillery I've personally never drank before. The Spey Distillery, also called the Speyside Distillery, of course from the Speyside region. This particular bottle is the Tenne, and this is a Tawny Port cask finished, cask strength, batch number 2, coming in at 58.6%. That's super exciting. And this is bottle 52 of 1500. So, one other thing I know about the Spey Distillery, just up until recently, so a few months ago I wouldn't have been able to say this, there were no public tours, and you could only get a tour of the Spey Distillery if you knocked on the door at just the right time and they felt generous. But they've just begun opening up to the public. So the Spey Distillery, very excited to try this port cask finished 58.6 release. Confident, there it is, cask strength. We'll see everybody back at the bar and we'll see what Malcolm thinks too. Hey buddy.
What's up? It's something new?
Have you had a Spey whiskey before?
No, but I did want to say, did we do a blend or something?
No.
All right.
Okay. No, we have not had any of this. We've had plenty of blends before.
Yep, no.
Not sure where you were going with that.
Go ahead.
So we've got the Spey, the Tenné. This is a Tawny Port cask finished, cask strength, batch 2, 58.6. We've never had a Spey whiskey. Correct?
Yeah, all right.
Love the bottle. Love the bottle, everyone. Let's get it open. As always, we pull it, we open it, we drink it.
It's very elegant.
Leggy. All right.
Ooh.
It was like a horn. Like the brass section of the band.
No. Sound like a pop.
Let us know what you think in the comments. That was brassy. New bottle shape. Let's see if we got a gurgle. There's one.
Yeah. Season 5, your pouring's getting better.
How'd you like that pour, bud? Okay. It's pop quiz time for Malcolm. Malcolm, this is a Cask Strength Tawny Port cask. What's a Tawny Port? Tawny. Tawny Port.
Didn't she take part in a movie back in the 80s? Tawny Catane? Would it be the color?
If you just put a toothpick in your eye, you're not the only one.
Would it be the color?
No, so what's Tawny Port? What's port?
Fortified wine.
Bingo! Can you give us a guess on what flavors might be associated with a Tawny Port?
No, because all I can think of is ale. And I can't really think of a flavor I would think of thinking about tawny.
Right. So it has been suggested that Tawny Port often reflects peanut brittle, raisin, apricot, some of these richer, nutty fruit flavors.
You're just like a bag full of information. Because I'm like, how do you even know that?
You got to read the books, man.
All right.
Right, you got to read the books.
Or watch a show and learn something.
So I don't think we have an age statement. 1,500 bottles, 58.6. There's some math there to figure out the actual alcohol, but we double that. What are you picking up for a color on this Tawny Port cask finish Spey? Oh, there's something on the back. While Mal looks at color, I'll see if there's something that can be read. Limited cask release of 1,500 bottles only. No color added. Finished in Tawny Port, non-chill filtered. Bottled at cask strength. I love that they've made the note of no color added and non-chill filtered. It just eliminates the guesswork. We would assume that at this high ABV, but now we don't have to make the assumption. We can make the statement. No color added, non-chill filtered. What are you picking up for a color?
You know, up here I was going to say more of a marmalade color.
Oh my gosh, Mal, that's a great word.
And then as it gets, you put it down further, it's got more of a reddish hue to it. It's tough, but I like the marmalade.
I like the marmalade too. Can we say marmalade?
Marmalade.
That's that jelly that's sort of stringy with orange in it, right?
It has the peel in it.
Yeah. That's a great reference
Great on
point.
toast.
Great on toast, right?
But yeah, I would say that's what I would call it. It's a really rich looking color.
It's holding together really well in the glass. It's there's rich in the color, but there seems to be some richness in the liquid. Like it's oily. It feels oily. It looks oily.
Yeah, I don't see any legs on my glass.
I'm not picking up. The only thing I'm picking up are my fingerprints.
Little bit.
You're making that up because
No.
I don't see. Oh, all the way up top.
Yeah.
Right. Not leggy though.
No,
Like it has held together.
that would say it probably have a very good mouthfeel to it.
I'm super excited. Of course, can you, again, quiz number 2 for Malcolm.
Good Lord.
Can you think of another port cask that we've had? Another port finish that we've had? And though we try to have a good time, part of being a human being is reflecting on some of the sad moments of our life too.
Wasn't,
That's your hint.
wasn't salamis?
Yeah. So we did the 25-year-old port cask Glen Moray.
That was a good drink as well.
Our paintball teammate Salami passed. It's so hard to believe in 2017, all those years ago already. And the team got together and drank a port cask Glen Moray. But just also a wonderful drink. Port, not as prolific a casking for whiskey as sherry, but I really enjoy the port finishes.
We had a couple from different casks that we've had that have now start to broaden that horizon or get away from your basic oak, bourbon, sherry.
Right, exactly.
Which is nice to see. You know?
And it's a wonderful way to open season 5. So shall we nose this?
Yeah.
All right.
So you're telling me
Raisins,
Raisin,
apricot, peanut brittle.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
Raisin.
Yep. And something fruity, and not knowing what an apricot really smells like, I can't really say that's what
I
it is.
love a dried apricot. It's funny in my belly sometimes, but I love a dried apricot since I was a lad.
And it's got it's a very pleasant smell.
For 58.6
Yeah.
ABV, this is not punching you in the
I
face.
didn't have anything
right?
go with my nose.
Nothing. No fire in the nose. Super relaxed, pleasant, fruity, raisin. I agree on the that is apricot.
And it's got the difference is what I'm now becoming more seasoned.
Yeah.
With the sherry, you get that sulfury.
Right.
This is just this pleasant, almost floral. Got some really nice little notes in there, and just pleasant.
It's unbelievable that this is 58.6% ABV. It's I don't believe it.
No,
It's a mirage.
that number hasn't even like figured into my vocabulary because I just don't. I'm not being knocked back.
I'd be curious as to traditionally how many bottles you would get out of a port cask. And the reason I'm asking that is we'll get a TBWD fact out about this hopefully. How many casks would yield 1,500 bottles?
Now you aren't going under the presence that a port cask is smaller.
Or bigger.
All right.
Fortified wine. That's what we got, right?
Yep.
And there are Tullibardine give us some knowledge about they named their series the 225, the 228, depending upon whether it's the sherry butt or whatnot. So
Right.
I'll be curious. You ready? Your
ready.
mouth watering?
Yeah.
All right. To season 5 and to thinking about salami.
Cheers.
The Tawny Port cask finish from Spey, our first time with this distillery. Medium mouthfeel. A deep dark fruit on the front end. Very lightly spicy on the backside. The ABV is not punching too hard. Very pleasant.
Okay, so I'm gonna change that around a
Okay.
little bit. I'll take the backside first. I feel that it was a little bit more spicier.
Okay.
I now know what the ABV on this is because my back of my throat and I feel myself getting flush with the alcohol. I have to agree, the fruit,
The deep dark
yeah,
fruit on
deep
the front.
dark, almost like I would say a raisin, very much a raisin, and it has a very pleasant but sweet taste all the way through.
But not a coat your teeth sweetness.
No.
Right. Just a sweetness.
Yes, and a lot more than we experience. That's the way I guess I'm gonna explain this. It's a lot more sweet than most of the stuff that we ever tried. This one I would say is there, and I vaguely remember we did another one that I found was slightly sickly sweet, but this is pleasant.
It's got a really nice exhale through the nose. Again, the second pull I just had, that spiciness, that very light to moderate spiciness is on the backside. That very deep raisiny is on the front. I'm not getting that flush that Malcolm's talking about from the ABV, but this clearly isn't a 40% whiskey.
No,
Right? No desire to cough and go, oh, right,
No.
right, or any sort of body rejection. Oh boy, that's a tough fight. I like this. And one of the reasons I like this is it's clearly not bourbon. It's clearly not sherry. I mean, obviously we're in Tawny Port, but it is this less recognizable flavor profile than the majority of Scotch whiskeys seem to be on the market these days, which are those American European oak, those bourbon casks, and those sherry casks, which we love.
Yeah.
Right? But it's nice to sort of stray off that traditional path a little here.
And I have like, so to just keep on this build that we've got going on, there's something at the very back of this that is just lingering. And for me, it reminds me of a Halls. I've got
Halls.
this, yeah, a
Yes.
Halls. I have this like lingering taste in the very back of my throat. But it's so pleasant. And what I have found on subsequent sips, this has grown on me more. Almost that reflex you get from your first sip, you go through and you're like, oh, okay, I got this. But every other sip after that, I am like thoroughly enjoying this.
Take a very small sip. It's very pleasant. There's this like small eruption of that dark fruit in the front, and that small sip allows that eruption to sort of not become dominated by the spicy at the end.
See, I gotta now. I'm gonna again. I think there is so much taste in this at the very beginning. Like it's just.
I'm agreeing.
Oh, okay.
Right, but it's not getting dominated by spice.
No.
Right. So that small sip allows that fruity explosion to happen.
And it's like really, just the entire tongue. My entire tongue is like completely alive with that taste. Raisin. It's definitely raisin.
Lovely.
Yeah. In a weird way. We've had some drinks that I've just been like, oh yeah,
Yes.
This one is more. I like it because it's so intriguing. There are these explosive moments in this drink that you just want to keep coming back for more. It doesn't. It's like this little hook.
I like this idea of intriguing, right? It's not immediately predictable. It's not immediately recognizable. It's like, I gotta go back. What was that? What just happened? Maybe I'll take a bigger. Maybe I'll take a smaller. What's going on in this glass? Because there's some stuff going on. But what's not going on is you're not being overpowered. I'm not. By the 58.6. You're not just overwhelmed by just alcohol and you can't pick up the subtleties. There's a lot happening here.
See, now I'm starting to get like some sort of peanut butter. Because now my tongue is starting to become.
Gosh, is that it?
It's becoming like a more acclimatized, and now I'm starting to pick it up.
I love that Malcolm just brought up peanut butter because there was this thing happening in the front as it sort of exploded around. Is this like peanut butter and marmalade? There's something happening, especially if you're going small and you're allowing it to happen.
You allow that if you take a small sip, because I find I take a large sip first time around, and then as I go through, and then like you say, you start to adjust, and now I'm taking smaller sips and just letting it roll over my tongue. I'm picking up different flavor profiles, and that peanut butter is there. Mm-hmm. You know, you can feel it roll over.
I get it.
You can just feel it roll over your tongue. Yeah. But that's nice. That is, and I think the other side of this is because this is like a first time for us. Yeah. There is no history for us. We have nothing to go back on.
Right, and we're starting not at a 40. We're in there, and we have some of their 40s here as well. But we're going right to their cask. This is their spirit when it's aged in a Tawny Port.
I'm going to steal this from you.
All right, and while you get that going, I think we're really enjoying our opening for season 5 here with this Spey whiskey, and I'll be curious as to what the crew has in store for us. If you have a quick thought on With Water, and then we'll sign off with a lovely whiskey from the Spey Distillery.
Just takes a few edges off it, but it's a great drink.
Okay, it's a lovely whiskey. This is so true, because sometimes this is exactly what happens here. Okay, so what we have are we've got a little information for you. Apparently, will be 3 port casks to equal the 1,500 bottles. But what we have here is Malcolm, 1 bottle for the group of us. Thank God there's not more of us.
Cheers.
Cheers. I love that you identified this peanut butter or peanut brittle and marmalade idea, because what we have here is this apparently a classic Tawny Port profile. We've got the raisins, we've got the peanut, we've got the apricot, we've got this nice medium mouthfeel, which brings us into this cask strength whiskey, and we're not overpowered by the alcohol.
No, and I like that ending with the spice. I like that little just pushes you back out and gets you going again.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like really good.
I'll say it one last time. It's a lovely whiskey.